Hey guys. Just going to be live here for a little while. I want to talk about some of the downsides of freelancing and being a 1099 employee. There are some downsides, and I just want to talk about those and answer questions on them and see, I guess, what questions you guys have. You have to excuse me if I'm kind of twisting around. I have a hitch in my giddy up today. If you have a question, go ahead and comment. Now, the first thing I want to say is that when you are a freelancer, you essentially work for yourself, okay? So when you work for yourself, you have to realize there are things that you don't get. Perfect example of this is I know someone who is now freelancing, and she's really just getting started, but she had jury duty. Well, we know that when you work on cases and you have extended jury duties, you're supposed to be paid by the company. When you freelance, you work for yourself. Okay? You have to also remember that there aren't like paid holidays. There aren't any holidays that we get paid for. There's not any sick time or personal leave. I guess the new thing is mental health days. There's not a way to do that when you're freelancing because you employ yourself. You are self-employed. Now, this is also important to remember because you're responsible for your own taxes as well. So when it comes time to filing taxes, you have to report all of that. There's no one to do it for you. Okay? Another side of that is going to be that you have to be a little bit more financially dependent or dependable because, contracts come and go sometimes. You may complete a contract and it may be a few weeks before you get another. I personally try to keep a couple of contracts in the works so that if something happens with one, I'm not going to be completely broke. But keeping that in mind, I do keep extra finances to the side in case I have to go an extended amount of time without a paycheck. And that's a very important thing. Those are securities that you have sometimes with a company if you're working under a contract that you don't necessarily have as a freelancer. I could tomorrow log in and all three of my companies say, hey, we don't need you anymore. And I would struggle, but I could come back from it. So think about that. Think about, too, the security. I've talked about this before. You have to think about what's more important to you, freedom or security. There's not a lot of security in the freelancer world, especially when you're getting started. Once you've built a reputation and you're known as a good freelancer, it's not a problem. I don't really struggle getting contracts anymore. But if you're just getting started, realize that that wasn't the first 4 years of my life as a freelancer. The first 4 years were a constant struggle and worry about if this contract ends, what happens. Excuse me, I had a situation 2 years ago where a contract ended and it scared me. I was fortunate 3 days later to land another contract that I'm still working on. But it put me in a position that I was, for several days, terrified. What if I don't find another contract? Do you guys, I only see 2 people in here. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions or concerns about the downsides of freelancing? Remember that one of the things that you have to do and that you have to make sure that you're on top of when it comes to freelancing, or it can be a downside, is you have to be able to self-motivate yourself in order to get up and get things done. I will tell you that my life would be so much easier if I had not felt motivation today, because I would have greatly appreciated just going back to bed this morning because I am exhausted. I didn't do that because I have companies that are depending on me. And sometimes it's easier if you don't directly reflect someone, if you don't directly see them in person, just to kind of dismiss the work. But you have to make sure that you're putting forth that effort, and it's really important. I think that's all I wanted to say for today. It's just easier for me to go live than it is for me to publish a video. So, for right now, I want you to remember a couple of things. Yes, downsizing. Freelancing is amazing. Freelancing can give you a career that gives you flexibility and freedom, but it does have its downfalls. And those downfalls include, but are not limited to, the fact that you are working for yourself. There are no paid vacations, no paid holiday days. Those don't exist because you have to pay yourself. You know, when it comes tax time, you're responsible for that. You know, and these are things that we have to talk about, because I think a lot of times we forget these, that it's not all sunshine and rainbows. But is it worth it? To me, it is. To me, it definitely is. Guys, it is time for me to go. I do have to get to work for the day. But until next time, remember 3 things. Number 1, you are worth the time that it takes to change your life. Number 2, your life is worth the effort that it takes to change your life. And number 3, know that you are loved. Until next time, guys. Bye.